Hey buddies, SomeNutzGuy here. Hope you're having an awesome day so far. I've been watching a bunch of different New World tips and tricks videos, guides, beginner's guides, leveling guides, all that good stuff, and I realize not everyone has all the time in the world to watch 10 to 20 different 10 to 20 minute long guides and tutorial videos, etc. So I wanted to put together a really concise list of tips and tricks for you guys that don't have so much time. And I want to run through this really quickly. We're going to throw some bullet points on screen for you to help you, because I'm going to be going through them really quickly. You may want to write things down, or so you can at least visibly see what the hell I'm saying. So we're going to go through these really quick. We're going to quick fire. Let's go. So the tutorial is skippable. In the top right options, you can actually skip the tutorial if you're trying to get in to reserve a name, or trying to get in to reserve a company name, or you just want to skip the tutorial. You can do that. There is no selling in the game, there is only salvaging. You select an item and press S to salvage it, and you'll get a little bit of money and some repair parts. Don't repair early game, it's a waste of the repair parts. You may want to have those later, and honestly there's no point because you're going to be changing gear so quickly anyway. You want to know what your fast travel options are and how best to utilize them. So you can own 3 different houses, which have a refresh timer of your fast travel to that for free, between 2 to 4 hours depending on the quality of the house. You can also have an inn that you can fast travel to once per hour. You can use campfires, but they've nerfed them heavily so that you can only travel to them from 500 meters away. So if you die more than 500 meters away, you'll have to respawn in one of your other respawn points, which I think is a good change because people were manipulating the campfires quite heavily. You want to unlock your fast travel points in addition to that. Now, if you don't know where they are, which you probably don't, you can use the newworld-map.com website and search for spirit altars, I believe they're called. You want to unlock these because that will give you more locations that you can fast travel from and to. You want to start crafting and gathering quite early on. Professions are going to be a very key point in this game. Especially when you want to start gathering quite early, because Townboard quests, this segues into Townboards. Townboard quests, again, have been nerfed, but will still be fairly good. I'd avoid using raw resources to do your Townboard quests unless you really want to, and instead level up your gathering to levels 50 or 100 if you're close, because your Townboard quests will upgrade when you get to gathering skills of level 50 or 100. And then you can do the sort of crafting Townboard quests instead of the raw resources, which means that you're gaining the profession levels as well as the experience from the quest, if that makes sense. You want to pick up all quests. There's a bunch of different quests. There's main quests, side quests, faction quests, etc. And the journal is really easy to manage. The more quests you have available to you, currently active, the more you can optimize your travel path to get as many quests done in as short a time as possible. So there's no real reason to not pick up every single quest. If you run out of storage space in your town storage, you can craft any raw resources up into a higher tier of resources that'll reduce the weight for you. If you are encumbered in the wild, if you're out and about and you become encumbered and you've got a number of different weapons or items or equipment or armor, instead of throwing things away, just salvage them. Of course, a simple one, but you may not think of it at the time. I would recommend enabling show extra ability cooldowns in the settings. What this does is it gives you a sort of radial wheel to show your cooldowns, which just makes the cooldowns a little bit more visible so you can see when your abilities are coming up and get your DPS optimized. Press U in settlements to turn on PvP or to turn off PvP. Toggle PvP with U while in settlements, but while in settlements only. And make sure that you do this, if you're going into a party, say if you're going into a dungeon with a party, they have their PvP off, you have your PvP on, you won't be able to join their group, and it'll be annoying for you if you have to run back to town and turn your PvP off and then go back to meet them again. So make sure you know what your PvP settings are. Press U to toggle it while in a settlement. You can hold left control to self-cast as well if you're a healer, but you need to heal yourself for a second, or you don't want to, you're in the middle of a tense battle, you don't have to aim. Left control will target self. There's free resources available in towns: honey, milk, water. These are available once every hour, I believe. You want to pick these up as frequently as possible. If you have a bunch of water, picked up water every hour, and then you realize, oh, I need to use a bunch of water, that's just saved you time having to run to a lake or a river to pick up water. So grab your resources in towns off cooldown if you can. And there's also a specific resource for each individual town, a higher tier resource instead of just milk or water. Your faction has to control that town, but these can include things like leather or iron, etc. So you definitely want to make sure you're picking those up off of cooldown if your town, if the town that you're in is owned by your faction. You can check all trade posts from a single trade post, so you don't need to travel to a town to check the trade post. You can check all trade posts from a single trade post location, but you will need to walk to that location, or you need to go to that location to purchase the item. So you can check them from one, but you have to travel to buy from them if you want to. There are a bunch of different equipment weight types or equipment weight levels. There's light, medium, and heavy, and they have different pluses or negatives attributed towards them. Basically, the heavier you are, the less your dodge or your roll is. It becomes very weak once you get to heavy. It's more of just a sidestep. If you're light armor, all this information is very visible in-game as well, so it's quite easy to see what you need to do to go up or down a weight class. Light armor will give you a plus 20% to your damage. Medium armor will give you a plus 10% to damage and a plus 10% or a minus 10% cooldown, crowd control time. And the heavy armor class will reduce your crowd control by 20% and also give you plus 10% to your blocking. You want to watch your caps. There's various different caps for various different resources or currencies in the game. Azoth, faction tokens. So if you watch your caps, you don't want to be wasting time. You know, if you're gaining faction tokens but you're at cap, you're wasting potential faction tokens. You could have bought something. And same with Azoth. You know, if you're capped on your Azoth, you could be fast traveling instead of walking, or using that Azoth to craft higher tier gear or weapons instead of wasting it because you're at cap. And lastly, I'd learn enemy types. We're not going to go into the specifics or the details here. You can definitely Google that really quickly. There's some really nice charts, but you want to learn your different enemy types and the different damage types, and what enemy types are weak to what damage types, if that makes sense. So you can optimize your loadout, optimize your available abilities against whatever enemy you're fighting at the time. And I know we've gone through these really quickly. Obviously, I haven't covered everything you can cover. I've tried to cover a lot of the key components, the key tips that I've picked up while watching a lot of the videos that I've watched. I hope you've enjoyed the video. Hopefully, you've learned something. I'm going to be doing an absolutely ridiculously long subathon stream from launch day. So if you guys are watching this a day or 2 days after launch day, I'll probably still be live. It's uncapped, so it's, you know, completely down to you guys how long the subathon ends up going for, and it's going to be a lot of fun. I also run a company, or I'll be running a company called Eternum Trading Co., assuming we get the name, on the EU server Runeberg. Anyone's welcome to join. It's going to be a lot of fun. Otherwise, above and beyond the things I've just said, I also go live 5 days a week, every day except Monday and Friday on twitch.tv/SomeNutzGuy. It'd be great to see some of you guys there. Regardless, hope you have an awesome rest of your day. Take care.